Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, thank you for joining us for the Q&A for the fiction strand of the LJMU MA Short Film Festival. Thank you, for coming. And I just want to encourage everyone that's watching to put questions in the chat, both on YouTube or if you're on the Zoom, And if anyone wants to share their social media links so that we can keep up with future projects, then also feel free to put those in the chat and we will follow you on those and happy to promote your work. So first of all, I'd just like you to describe a little bit about yourself and the film that you made. So if we start off with Alexandra.
Hi, my name is Alexandra and I'm director of the film While You're Full Lisa. This film about unrequited love, and this is my personal story about my unrequited love, and many dialogues in this film is my real dialogues of my life, and I want to represent it with serious movies because this is a dream of all girls, I think, and for many girls in this world, so important to make their relationships in such a way. And this is like a reality and the dreams that never will be like in their reality way.
Lovely, thank you very much. And Leia and Cecile, I was wondering the same thing, just if you wouldn't mind introducing a little bit about yourselves and your film.
Okay, I'm Cecile. I'm the director of Never Too Late, and it's Leia. Yes. Never Too Late is a romantic comedy about love in a retirement home between two older people, Jacqueline and Valère.
Lovely, thanks. We've had some questions submitted from people on our course that they specifically wanted to ask you. So first of all, again for Leah, it says the film centers around elderly people who can often be underrepresented in film. What motivated the choice to make a film with this subject matter?
Alors, this film was, what did the family think? The film was quite appreciated. Inspiré par ce film.
It's okay, it's a hard question, sorry.
So bad, sorry. When I used to visit my grandparents in a retirement home, there were love stories between two residents, and when I wrote the script, I threw about these stories.
Why did you choose to make it about old people rather than young people?
The love story between two old people,
yes,
on the screen is very rare.
Yeah.
Sorry, English very well.
No, that's good. So I have a question submitted for Alexandra as well. In your filmmaker video, which if anyone who's watching hasn't seen yet, check it out. It's on our website. It's obviously really important. And it's got information at the end about how you can sort of do your bit to help people in Ukraine. But in that video, you spoke about wanting to make a film about unrequited love and about things that you could relate to. Do you feel like this topic is underrepresented, and was it almost a feminist choice to make the film about that?
Так, я не дуже зрозуміла. One second, please.
Ти подивилася в твоєму фільмі такі типу феміністичні настрої, і чи недорепрезентована, ну, чи не повністю репрезентована тема не розділеної любові в кіно, чи вона...
I think that in my country, especially this theme is like something that nobody show this about girl story, about woman story. In our country, this film like something that you never see about or something like that. So it's really important for me to represent the woman's story in Ukraine and in which way it's like moving now in our time. And I hope that in future this film will be more and more, and we can speak about this more and more, because now in our country war, I don't know how it will be then, but I know, for example, too many stories about women in war that need help. They were зґвалтовані.
Raped.
They were raped and killed, and I hope that women's story will be more and more represent in our country and in whole world.
Yeah, brilliant answer there, really important stuff. Just so everyone watching knows, we also have Mikhail, director of Katowice, here with us. He's just not able to be on screen, but he said that he's happy to answer any questions via the chat. And I will read out any that come through Zoom so people on YouTube can also see them. So if you do have questions about Katowice, still feel free to send them in for us. We've got another question submitted by Alejandra for Alexandra. And the question is, what was your main inspiration for the art direction of the film, specifically the makeup, the clothes and the set?
My inspiration was, like I previously say, it's like Zeus movies. I really fan of these movies, and I think that a lot of my friends and a lot of girls watched these movies when they were like 13 years old or something like this, and for us these movies was like something in what we watch boys and how they should speak to girls, yes, and a lot of clothes and makeups also were inspiration but by these movies. For example, like I don't know, like say it in English. 13 причин моей ненависти.
13 reasons of my hate.
13 reasons of my hate, yes, and
13 reasons to hate me, I think this movie was called.
Maybe, yes. This film with Heath Ledger.
Oh no, 10 reasons.
10 things I hate about you, I think. I know the one you mean.
yes, because
so yeah,
Ukrainian.
this all the movies that we watch, and these movies learn us how to love, but this is not the true thing about love and about communication with boys, which we have.
And how did you pick? I noticed there were some moments in the film that were sort of directly referencing back to those, like the Bridget Jones's Diary moment where they're kissing outside. How did you pick which films you wanted to reference?
This is a long story. When I wrote my screenplay, I thought which film I want to represent, like dreams of Lisa, yes, and I just took something of my favorite and something that really like from my own represent her character of the Lisa, and which film she liked the most, yes.
Brilliant, thanks. We have another question for Leah and Cecile. Your film has a happy ending. Well, some people think it's a happy ending, I would. What made you decide to give your film a happy ending?
Never Too Late is yes a comedy. So yes, for me it's necessary to talk about the good hand because it's so sad. People is near. The death. Yes.
If you need me to translate something in French, if you're really stuck, I can help a bit. If you need, sorry to come in suddenly, if you really need any support with the language, but sorry, just to say, is that okay? Si vous voulez dire quelque chose en français, je l'interprète.
Pour moi, c'était, enfin même pour nous, c'était important de montrer une fin heureuse parce que la vieillesse est assez proche de la mort, du décès. Ce qui est un peu trop triste, je trouve, pour une histoire pareille. Je pense qu'il n'était pas nécessaire de montrer la mort, sachant qu'on sait très bien que ces personnes sont assez proches de la fin que du début. Du coup, c'est pour ça que pour nous, il était nécessaire de montrer une fin heureuse.
Yes, so let me translate. Yes, it was very important for them to have a happy ending because these characters are very close to the end because of their age, and they really wanted to counter that, to make it something positive, to actually to kind of not distract, if you want, from that fact, give a bit of hope, basically. But also, I would add. He didn't quite say that, but he said it before, I think, that because it's a romantic comedy, basically, the romantic comedies do have happy endings, isn't it? So it kind of goes with the territory. Thank you. So
we actually have another question for Leah and Cecile, if you wouldn't mind translating again, Lydia.
Oh, okay, yes.
Which was the film inspired by real characters or other films? And if so, which ones?
Vous voulez que je traduise la question ou est-ce que votre film était inspiré des personnages, des gens que vous connaissez, ou c'était d'autres films?
Yes. Oui, je me suis inspirée de mes grands-parents, surtout ma grand-mère, du coup. Donc mes deux grands-mères et mes deux grands-pères. Et je me suis aussi inspirée beaucoup des histoires qu'on me racontait. Des maisons de retraite qu'on appelle EHPAD, qui sont des lieux où il y a beaucoup d'histoires d'amour, et aussi de rencontres. Donc, et ça, c'est des choses qu'on ne parle pas beaucoup. Donc oui, c'est vrai que c'est quelque chose qui m'a beaucoup inspirée. Et parce que les personnes âgées sont aussi très importantes pour nous. Les jeunes, je trouve, parce que c'est ceux qui nous apprennent beaucoup. Et donc, chaque personne âgée que je côtoie ou que je vois passer dans la rue m'inspire dans tous les cas pour le film.
Merci. Je vais traduire et ensuite.
Merci.
So yes, they were very much inspired. Cecile was very much inspired by her own grandparents, both of their grandparents. So that was the primary source, but also from many stories she had heard from care homes, because, and that is something I didn't know, apparently there's a lot of love stories that take care there. There's a lot of, yes, love, and that nobody actually ever talks about it, and there's certainly not any films from that, but the stories she heard really were the source of inspiration. And also she added that she really feels that older people are very important in life, and there should be kind of there should be more attention be drawn towards them. So that these were the key reasons. So can I just also add the second question? Sorry, Freya, I'm going to repeat the second part. Yeah. So the second, la question, alors c'est alors, je pense que l'inspiration principale c'était la vie et pas les films. Où est-ce que il y avait une inspiration par des films aussi que vous avez vus? Parce que je suis d'accord avec vous qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup de films sur ce sujet.
Yes.
Mais est-ce qu'il y a un ou deux films que vous avez dit, oh alors oui, on peut faire quelque chose comme ça, ou non, ou rien?
Alors, oui, il y a des films qui m'ont inspiré, dont le film Là-haut, le dessin animé, qui m'a énormément inspiré, que ce soit niveau musique ou pour le personnage.
Is that Up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
the film, the film that inspired Cécile was Up, the Disney film. Yeah. Yeah.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Et Amélie Poulain, dans la forme de l'image, c'est ce qui m'a aussi beaucoup inspiré.
And of course, everybody knows that, I think. Anyway, Amélie, the French film Amélie. Yes, I can see the connection of it now, the lightness, the feel of it. Yeah. Good. Merci. Si vous voulez dire d'autres choses, je traduis.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
So, Freya, your turn.
Yes, we have another question for Alexandra, but we will have more questions for Léa and Cécile in a bit. So if you won't mind staying on, Lydia, in case we need more translation. So related to the question that we just had answered about inspiration for characters, I was wondering what was sort of your inspiration behind the supporting cast of family and friends that are in Well, You're a Fool, Lisa, and sort of if they're based on real life people or if they're based more on sort of the rom-com tradition of having a supporting group of characters.
The inspiration was my family and my friends. I said early that in a lot of things, this is my story, and characters, it's like my friends. The boy in which I was in love, and my mother, and so yeah, all of the characters in the film, it's like ironic view on my real life and on my friends, family, and you understand.
Yeah. Have any of them seen the film? What did they think?
Yeah, of course. It was horrible when my father came to my first screening. Yeah, to my first screening. He watched it to the end, but then he said me, why do you make this film? Your first sex experience were so horrible. So yes, it's like a little bit nervous to show something about your family and about your friends to your family and to your friends, because in some way it can be rude for them. I don't know. But I think that it's right to make something which show your own life, because it also seems to life your friends and all people that near and don't near, because many of us have seems problem with their family. I think many girls after screening the film said me that they have some problems with boys, with their moms, with their sisters, and with their friends.
Can I add something? Sorry, just a thought I had. I'm interfering, but I would like to add that both the films we have here actually deal with topics that are not common at all, because very rarely do we actually see in films also the huge unpleasantness of the first sexual experiences, and which is basically what you're doing in such a beautiful way. So I think that is something really, really very good and very positive. I'm very pleased to have seen those in the screen, and also so nicely portrayed. So this is just a little comment I wanted to add to both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we also have some questions for Mikael. I know that he's not in the video, but he is in the chat. So I'm going to ask them, and then when we get the answers, I will read them out. So the first one is, what was the research process like behind finding out about Hans Bellemare and his life and work? And how did you pick which bits of his story you were going to incorporate into your film, Mikael? And while he types out the answer to that before I read it out, I have another question for Leah and Cécile, which was sent in from one of our MA students, asking about the sound design of the film and who was in charge of the sound design and how did they make it so unique?
Do you want to repeat that actually so I can translate?
Yeah, so there was unique sound design in their film, which I don't know very much about personally, but the person that sent in the question was really interested to find out who out of their team did the sound design and how they made it so good.
C'est par rapport du son sur le film. Je ne sais pas comment on dit sound design, but son, comment on dit sound design. Et qui a fait, qu'est-ce que c'était spécial, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait spécial pour ça, pour le faire si bon?
Alors c'était un étudiant en école de composition musicale qui du coup est en externe de notre école, donc il n'est pas dans la même école que nous. Du coup, il m'a contacté parce qu'il était intéressé et qu'il était assez touché par le scénario qu'il avait lu avant. Du coup, on s'est
Let me translate this. It was actually, that's a very interesting point, because it was not somebody from their own school. It was somebody from a special school to do the music. C'était quel genre d'école? Est-ce qu'il vient de...
Une école de composition musicale.
So music school, composition school, basically, music composition school. And because it was a he, c'était un homme.
Yes.
Yeah. And because he read the script and he thought it was really good, he actually volunteered to design the sound for it. So so well spotted to whoever wrote that it was actually quite special. Vous pouvez continuer si vous voulez, mais je ne voulais pas oublier.
Merci.
Est-ce que vous avez d'autres choses à dire sur ça?
Oui, alors pour la musique, je me suis aussi inspirée et surtout inspirée de Up, parce que c'était quelque chose d'assez positif dans le rythme. C'était une mélodie que tout le monde a en tête et quand on l'écoute, on a envie, on est joyeux, ça raconte une histoire d'amour, donc c'est aussi ça qui m'a beaucoup inspirée. Et donc ce que j'ai transcrit à Terence, qui était le compositeur du film. Donc il a fait plusieurs compositions d'instruments, me l'a transmis et j'ai regardé avec lui ce qui était le mieux, et donc l'instrument qui prend le dessus, c'est la clarinette.
Okay, very interesting. So, of course, the overall influence expression is pop music and the particular kind of tunes which are kind of positive and optimistic and you know, life affirming. So Cecilia told that to the composer, and he came up with a number of different options, different orchestrations, different uses of instruments. And in the end, they decided for one that the clarinet predominates. So, très intéressant.
Brilliant. And we have a question in the chat for everyone, but just for the sake of making it a bit easier, if we start with Leah and Cecile, and then if Alexandra, you answer afterwards. The question is, did you encounter any challenges and difficulties while filming, or was it a relatively smooth process?
Est-ce que vous aviez eu des difficultés particulières pendant le tournage? Est-ce qu'il y a des tournages sans difficulté?
Non. Non, mais la difficulté principale qu'on a eue, ça a été le Covid.
Ouais.
Covid.
Parce qu'on tournait en retraite en temps de Covid, ça a été très compliqué. On a mis un moment à trouver, mais on a fini, mais ça a été très compliqué.
On a trouvé notre lieu de tournage parce que le film est tourné dans une vraie maison de retraite et les figurants sont des vrais résidents en maison de retraite. Donc c'est vrai que ça a été assez compliqué pour nous parce que moi c'est quelque chose auquel je tenais énormément, avoir de vraies personnes, une vraie ambiance derrière et pour avoir ce côté naturel et montrer que une maison de retraite ça peut être positif, c'est pas que négatif.
Ouais.
C'est vrai qu'on a eu beaucoup de soucis par rapport à ça parce que notre décor, on l'a eu 2 semaines avant le tournage.
Ah.
Et du coup, les acteurs, parce que les acteurs sont âgés, du coup, les acteurs, c'est très compliqué d'en trouver en France. Ils sont âgés, surtout les femmes, c'est très compliqué, malheureusement. Du coup,
Okay, I'm going to forget the number of difficulties. So let me translate and then you can add. Of course, the first one was COVID, but COVID was for everybody, but their film is set in a real care home, in an actual care home. So you can imagine old people, COVID, filming, the complications. That was one of them. And the other one was, of course, it was I should add that as Cecile stressed that it was very important for her to have it in the real care home because she really wanted the atmosphere of the place as it was. And a number of the characters are actually people who live there. You know, they're actually not actors. The main characters are actors, but that's another difficulty to find all the people who are actors, professional actors, and to want to work into this. So, yeah. More difficulties you want to say? Oh, that's enough. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres difficultés que vous voulez dire?
Non, pas nécessairement, parce que pendant le tournage, on n'a rien eu.
That was enough.
I mean, we actually have a related question to that was already on the list of questions that were sent in, asking whether any adjustments that you had to make when working with older actors.
Oh, okay. Est-ce qu'il y avait il y avait des choses que vous avez eu faire autrement parce que vous travaillez avec des acteurs âgés?
Alors oui, on a dû se répartir avec l'équipe de tournage. On avait notre équipe régie qui était assez éloignée dans le parc, dans un autre petit bâtiment, pour éviter toute contamination. On faisait en sorte de se relayer les rôles. Ouais. Donc, quand il y avait l'équipe décor qui était en place, le reste de l'équipe était autre part pour ne pas propager le virus. Ouais. Et on se faisait tester dès la veille du tournage et on se faisait tester aussi quelques-uns après le tournage pour vérifier qu'on n'a pas eu de virus.
Oui, mais à part du Covid, est-ce qu'il y avait d'autres choses spéciales parce que vous travaillez avec des gens âgés? Je vais traduire ce que vous avez dit maintenant et s'il y a quelque chose de... Cecile was telling me about the way in which they dealt with the COVID and the old people because they couldn't be close, so the whole group was set up quite far, you know, and only the people who had to work at the particular moment in the scene were approaching after, you know, taking all precautions necessary. And everybody was testing every day before they were going. But basically the whole coordination of the shot was affected because they were keeping distance much more much more kind of insistently. But I asked her at the end if apart from COVID, there was something that that was affected by the fact that the main actors were aged. So I don't know if she's going to answer anything to that. Vous avez quelque chose de dire général ou pas nécessairement?
On a eu en plus le fait que tourner avec des personnes âgées, ça prend plus de temps.
Plus patient.
Il faut être plus patient parce que le problème, c'est qu'il peut y avoir des pertes de mémoire, il peut y avoir des personnes, des acteurs qui nous demandent tout le temps la même question. Et donc, il faut prendre notre temps, il faut être à l'écoute aussi. S'il y a un figurant, s'il y a un résident qui ne veut pas, il ne veut pas. Et on ne doit pas forcer et on doit changer avec quelqu'un d'autre. Et donc, demander l'avis au directeur, demander de l'aide avec une aide-soignante. Du coup, c'est
Hola.
le problème.
Exhausted already. Yes, the main difficulty is that you need basically a lot of patience, much more patience than you would expect otherwise. Partly because some people, have difficulty remembering. Either they get tired quickly or they get difficulty remembering. They ask you the same thing again and again. Sometimes as well, it happened that somebody wanted to do it and then they changed their minds. So they didn't want to participate, and they had to go through all the process of finding somebody else who would help to basically stand in for the role. So patience basically is the main thing. But yeah, merci.
In that case, I'll ask Alexandra the question that we originally started with about if there were any challenges and difficulties during the filming.
Yes, actually, there were a lot of challenges while we make our film. It was also COVID because I spent my own money to make this film, and we had a lot of problems with logistic because at that time when we made our film, underground didn't work, and we need something like tak привести людей на
So we needed to get people
to
on
get
set.
people on set, yeah.
Yes.
And we also had 30 hours on set because we need to make our film on 3 days, because we haven't got any money to make our filmmaking period longer. Yeah, so we had a lot of troubles.
So we've had an answer from Mikel, just so that everyone knows. I'm going to read it out now. I've not read it yet, it's quite long, so I'm just going to read it as it comes. He says, in Katowice, the city that I live in and I was born in, we have a difficult history because it was built by Germans, but 100 years ago in 1922, it became Polish. And of course, Poland wanted to erase all of the German heritage. For me, that's an unfair political thing, and I wanted to tell a story about one of the greatest artists that grew up here. He lived in Katowice for 20 years, and after that he moved to Berlin and Paris. I wanted to tell a story about this period that he was in Katowice, the German name for Katowice, and this is what interested me. He's contacted the Museum of History, where Natalia Kruznia works, who's a specialist in Hans Bellomer. She told him a lot of things about his life and showed him the works and paintings and photos, and that he was inspired by other artists, for example, George Grosz and some other German artists from the time. Which anyone that cannot read that, we will make sure that that answer is available on the YouTube.
Yes, thank you. Can I take the opportunity of asking another question to Michal, so you can carry on writing to us, Michal? Mm-hmm. Is a question we asked before to the girls, basically, whether you were inspired by the films, apart from the story that you just described, the actual origin, the source of the story, but were there particular films that you took inspiration in terms of the style of the film? So that's my question. And I'll pass to Freya.
So we have a question from Alicia Smith on YouTube, which is for anyone, but if we start off with Alexandra this time, and then we'll pass over to Leah and Sisu. So this one is, when deciding to make a fiction film, was there any elements of truth and realism behind the films that you ended up creating? And I guess I would just add on to that, especially when it's based on your own life, where do you sort of draw the line between fiction and fact?
I said before that it's like my own story, but I want to make this in realism, because I think that you should say something about you in an ironic way if you say something about you. So for me, it was important to make like this line with my life and with the film, and I want to hyperbolistic something to make this maybe more funny in some way, or maybe more sad in some way, and to make this like a fiction. So because my movie master said that film it's a lot about life, but it isn't life.
Brilliant. And Leah and Cecile, the same question.
Yeah,
you're on mute, Lydia. Oh.
Let me read it. Oui, je ne sais pas si vous avez écouté la question, mais c'est une question d'une des élèves, des étudiantes avec nous. C'est quand vous... well, actually, je crois que vous avez répondu à ça. Parce que est-ce que vous avez fait une fiction, un film de fiction, mais quel élément de réalité il y avait behind it? Il y avait là.
Ouais, c'est ce qu'on avait répondu par rapport à tes
Yeah, they have actually answered this, because the reality was the grandparents that we talked about, and the fact that they want to they consider old people worth drawing attention to, plus the whole context is the actual the setting is a real care home. So yeah, I'm not sure if I understood the question right, basically. If Alicia, if you want to clarify if we didn't get it right, you can tell us. There is a question from Alejandra as well, Freya.
Yes. So this one's specifically for Alexandra, and it says, in which way during your film does this help to understand female pleasure, which is often underestimated or censored, and how society teaches us to fake these emotions? So I think she's asking, did you set out to change the way that female pleasure and those female experiences are portrayed?
I think that it's very horrible that we need to play our emotions when we fall in love, and when we have sex with someone. Yes, and I think that that is a lot of, because rom-coms that we see in our teenage time. Yes. And I think that a lot of women try to be a good one for men, but I think that it isn't right way, and I want to present this in my film. And I also want to present in my film that these problems that we have with pleasure because of rom-coms, and something that we read in our teenage years, like stories about happy ever after that we all know. So yeah, I want to represent this problem, and I actually want and actually be really happy if my film helps someone with this problem, and if someone can see that this problem, it's not only for it's not only her, but a lot of women, and I think we need to support each other with this.
That's a great answer. And also for Alexandra, we have the question that was sent in before from one of the students saying, what inspired the ending shots of your film? Do these show something about Lisa's journey?
I think that this shot is about like her journey before the start, start of the film, and to the ending. It's like about her transformation, like her dreams that never come true, but she understand what she really want in the end of the film, because she knows that she never be with this boy, and she know that some of her family and her friends doesn't understand her, and it's like all emotions that she feel in this moment.
I think that's a lovely answer and beautiful ending shots, in my opinion. We have another question from YouTube, which I'm going to read out in English, but it's also typed in the chat in French for Bia and Cecile, which is, what does it mean for you to have your film screened at the LJMU MA Short Film Festival? And if we want to start with Cecile and Lia.
C'est important.
Ouais. Alors, pour nous, ça signifie que notre projet peut toucher, et ça fait plaisir de savoir qu'une histoire sur la vieillesse peut toucher des personnes, et ça nous permet de montrer qu'on transmet, qu'on a réussi notre défi de transmettre en fait l'émotion qu'on a envie, et ça nous touche, ça nous fait plaisir.
Yeah. What is important for Cecile is that they can see that their film touches other people, and the story they wanted to tell, can communicate more broadly and move people. Basically, that's the main thing, to get it. Basically, people connect to it. So yeah,
lovely. And Alexandra.
I'm really happy that this film can be on your festival, really, because it's like one of the first time it's abroad, and for me it's very important to show and represent women's problem when we fall in love, and something that we think that right things, but it's not in love what you see in film. So that's all, I think.
Yeah. So we have an answer from Mikhail, which I'm just going to once again read out so that anyone on YouTube can hear it. So he says, for me, the truth of my film, the thing that is connected with my life, is the question about identity. I'm Polish, but also Silesian. I hope I'm saying that right. Silesia is a region that has 1,000 years of history, and it was mostly Czech and German, and Polish for only 200 years. And I'm still wondering who exactly I am. I speak Polish, but I also speak Silesian. I think basically I'm a human being, and I don't want to divide people into Polish, German, Russian, Ukrainian, and so on. I think that Hans Bellemare had similar thoughts, and I think that he considered himself as an artist, basically. I'm sure that considering yourself an artist is something that filmmakers can relate to. So I have one more question that was sort of pre-sent in from our MA students, which is that, what is your favorite thing about your film? And I think we can ask both sets of filmmakers this. So if we start with Alexandra, what's your favorite bit of your film, or your favorite thing about making it?
I think my favorite thing about this film, this is people with
people with whom we did the movie.
The movie, my film crew, it's wonderful people who help me, to support me, because of course they haven't got any money for this. They made this movie with me for their pleasure, and because they believe in this movie and in me, and I really happy that they were with me. And also I like costumes and makeup in this film, and our costume design is really great, I think.
I agree. And Leah and Cécile?
Il y a d'autres choses préférées de votre film? Qu'est-ce que vous préférez plus de votre film? Est-ce qu'il y a une chose que vous pourriez dire que c'est ça?
Par rapport au tournage?
Par rapport de n'importe quoi, du film ou de l'expérience de le faire?
Alors, pour ma part, je te laisserai Léa, peut-être plus à dire, mais pour ma part, c'est l'expérience qui m'a le plus plu et qui me touche et qui va me rester en mémoire. C'est le partage, c'est ce que j'ai pu faire ressentir à l'équipe de tournage dans un EHPAD, dans une maison de retraite. C'est de voir avec eux et de vivre avec eux cette expérience et d'être en contact avec ces personnes âgées, ces résidents qui ont été juste incroyables et qui étaient toujours près de nous pour regarder le tournage. Ils étaient avec nous, ils ne nous posaient pas forcément de questions, mais ils souriaient. Et actuellement, on a fait une projection dans l'EHPAD où on a tourné le film. Et
très contents.
Oui, ils ont été très contents. Et quelque chose qui m'a énormément touchée, c'est de savoir l'une des grands-mères, l'une des personnes âgées, m'a dit droit dans les yeux que ça lui avait rappelé son mari qui est décédé et qu'elle ne pleurait pas de tristesse mais de joie parce que le film lui a permis de revivre ce moment avec lui.
Oh, sorry. Cécile was saying that the most important, the favorite thing about her film for her is the experience of making it, was part of it. The way in which she connected with the people at the care home, all the interactions, the way they came close, the way they were touched by the story. And particularly at the end, she was saying about when the film was shown and it was projected, where it was projected to the people who the care home, people who were there in the care home, and one of the old ladies was very moved by it because it reminded her of her partner who had her husband who had died, but it didn't remind her in a sad way. It reminded her in a happy way, and that's exactly the kind of thing that she wanted to communicate. And I think this is very touching, actually.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have one more question, which is, which film projects or any other projects are you guys working on? Do you have anything lined up for the future? If we start with Leah and Cécile and then go to Alexandra after.
Yeah, est-ce que vous travaillez à quelque chose de nouveau maintenant? Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Quel est votre projet maintenant prochain?
Alors, pour le moment, je suis en écriture pour un long métrage que j'aimerais beaucoup finir parce que je suis dedans, mais je suis dans le commencement, donc je suis loin d'avoir fini.
Okay.
Mais ce ne serait pas une comédie romantique, mais plus un drame sur quelque chose d'autre que je connais et qui est basé sur la femme d'un militaire.
La femme de quoi?
D'un militaire.
D'un militaire. Okay. She's at the early stages of writing a feature-length script, and it is not a comedy this time. It's a drama, and it's on a different topic, but a topic that she knows well about being the wife of a person in the military. So we have to look out for it. Good luck. Bonne chance. And I suppose, Alexandra, you can tell us.
Yes, actually, we wrote a new screenplay, and it's also a story about Lisa. It's like the second part about first serious relationship. It's also a comedy about when a girl first living with her boyfriend and some problems that they have in this time. And I think that we can make this film when
the war gonna end.
yeah,
We
when
hope
the
so.
war is gonna end.
We hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We hope.
Well, obviously we all hope for the best for that. And also, if Mikhail can type out an answer for that, it would be brilliant to hear what he's next working on, and what his next ideas are. And if anyone wants to once again put their social media tags into the chat, so that we can follow you on our accounts and make sure that we're circulating all of this amazing stuff that you're working on at the moment, that would be brilliant. I think that's all that we have time for today, unless anyone has any other questions they want to quickly put in the chat. I think we'll be saying goodbye. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch your films, and yeah, thank you for tuning in on the YouTube as well.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And Michal, yes, you can type it on YouTube. If we close this here, hopefully we'll still show there anyway your answer. So yes, thank you very much. I didn't ask you if you want to ask each other any questions. I'm not sure if you've seen any of your films, but if not, we can just leave it at that. That was really fascinating. We learned a lot about you, your films, and your working process. And look out for the awards tomorrow. Everybody, both people who are here, who join us, but everybody who is listening as well can join for the award ceremony tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. It's not going to be very long. It'll be about half an hour long or something like that, and we will announce the Paper Bird Awards for the 3 categories: fiction, animation, and documentary. And I also want to remind everybody who listen now and people here as well that the Audience Award is still open, and people who watch and like films can vote. And voting is very simple. Just basically like after you've seen the film. And the more likes the film gets, you will receive an Audience Award, which will not be announced tomorrow because the Audience Award will close on Friday. So it will be announced on the website later on the Friday when it's done. So go watch, go vote. And I think actually we have an answer by Michal, and you can actually read that
Yes.
before we finish off, and then we can finish off.
He says, I'm working now on my last film in school, a short story about a future world with no sun. It takes place in an old coal mine and is about a young man that is building a boat to go to the seaside and meet his father. And we shoot in the summer with the same director of photography and producer. So looking forward to seeing that. Good luck, Michal, with that project. Sounds fascinating and challenging. Anyway, thank you so much again, and see you tomorrow. Definitely, hopefully, to see the filmmakers tomorrow. Okay, and the audience, of course. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, bye.